Good evening and welcome to the evening news for today, Friday, June 3rd, 2022. I am Timothy Jaikran. Thank you for tuning in. Now let's take a look at some of the lead stories tonight. Guyana is UK's largest trade partner in the Caribbean, says DIPLOMAT. BENN, Venezuelan envoy, talk about high influx of migrants in Guyana. All who are deserving will receive cash grants, VP assures fishermen. ECCLES-To-DIAMOND 4-lane road 25% complete, and 1 dead, several injured as bees attack fishermen. Now for the news in detail. Guyana has emerged as the United Kingdom's largest trade partner in the Caribbean region, attracting interest for the potential establishment of a British Chamber of Commerce locally. Here is Rupert Sinrine with our lead story tonight.
Last year, trade in goods and services between the United Kingdom and Guyana was £560 million. This represented 21.6% of trade facilitated between the Caribbean, making Guyana the largest trade partner in the region. Back in 2011, the exchange of goods with Guyana was pegged at £94 million, expanding 6 times since then. For the Platinum Jubilee achievement and 96th birthday celebration, a reception was hosted for Queen Elizabeth II at the residence of the British High Commissioner to Guyana. British High Commissioner Jane Miller alluded to new linkages between the United Kingdom and Guyanese businesses, adding that the introduction of a British Chamber of Commerce is being explored.
To give more perspective, in 2011 that was £94 million. So the trade has expanded 6 times in the last 10 years. And given my experience over the last year, there's enormous opportunities for further growth of this relationship. The feedback I've had from businesses after the trade mission was amazing. So many opportunities. And we expect more inward trade missions over the coming months. And in addition, we continue to explore the opportunity of the establishment of a British Chamber of Commerce in Guyana.
Apart from Guyana, the High Commissioner said work is continuing with the wider Caribbean community in pursuing a mutual trade and climate change agenda. President of Guyana, Dr. Irfan Ali, acknowledged that in ensuring readiness to undertake new avenues, understanding the opportunities that exist for both countries will prove beneficial. The Guyanese head of state would have met with Prime Minister of the UK, Boris Johnson, in April, an engagement which has tightened relations between the two countries.
We are not talking about MOUs anymore. We have advanced the relationship between Guyana and the UK to be what we call government-to-government cooperation and defining and developing a government-to-government partnership. As your President and members of Parliament, I want all of you to know that as your President, I'm always very proud to sit in a room and to hear in that room Guyana being a leading part of discussions around climate change, discussions around energy security, discussion around the forests and carbon credit. And in all these new global challenges, food security, our country, and when I say our country, all of us, our country, Guyana is in the center of all these discussions, and we have to appreciate that. We have to understand this, and we have to understand the responsibility of countries.
While the Queen's birthday is in April, it is officially celebrated in June. She is also celebrating a historic 70 years on the throne. Rupa Sinarine, The Evening News.
The high influx of Venezuelan migrants in the country was discussed today during a meeting between Home Affairs Minister BENN and the Venezuelan ambassador to Guyana. Find out more in this Vanu Manikchan report.
Minister of Home Affairs BENN on Friday received a courtesy call from Carlos Amador Perez Silva, resident ambassador of Venezuela to Guyana. A statement from the ministry noted that the discussions focused on bilateral agreements, mutual interests, and possible collaboration as it relates to the well-being of the high influx of Venezuelan migrants in Guyana. This meeting was the first between the Minister of Home Affairs and the newly accredited diplomat. Prior to being accredited on April 12 by President Dr. Irfan Ali, the ambassador-designate had met with Guyana's Foreign Affairs Minister Hugh Todd. Minister Todd had welcomed the ambassador-designate and informed him that the President Ali administration remains committed to advancing relations with Venezuela in the areas of mutual interest. Minister Todd also reiterated President Ali's commitment to maintaining the region as a zone of peace. In turn, the then ambassador-designate had emphasized his government's commitment to friendly relations and strong bilateral ties with Guyana. This is particularly significant since Guyana took Venezuela before the International Court of Justice over the border controversy between the two countries. In 2015, Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro had withdrawn the country's ambassador to Guyana after ExxonMobil found oil in Guyana's water. Eventually, this decision was reversed. Venezuela claims Essequibo as its own, despite the 1899 arbitral award confirming Guyana's sovereignty, which is accepted by the international community. Matters escalated in 2021 when Maduro issued a presidential decree reinforcing his country's illegal claim to Guyana's Essequibo region. Meanwhile, Guyana is set to be home to an estimated 24,500 refugees and migrants from Venezuela. Some have settled in hard to reach areas near the Venezuelan border and others in or around the towns of Mabaruma and Port Kaituma. Reporting for the Evening News, Vanu Manakchand.
Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo has assured fisher folk that the government would work with them to ensure all who are deserving collect the one-off cash grant of $150,000. Our Berbice correspondent Andrew Carmichael tells us more.
The assurance was given on Thursday afternoon when Vice President Dr. Bharat Jagdeo met with fisher folk at Corriverton, Region 6, East Berbice Quarantine. The $150,000 cash grant being given to persons in the fishing industry is meant to cushion the negative impact of rising cost of living, low catch as a result of global warming, and increases in operational cost. The industry plays a significant role as a foreign exchange earner for Guyana. According to the United Nations Comtrade database on international trade, in 2021, Guyana exported $41.2 million in fish and aquatic invertebrates. Low cash has been significantly affecting fishers who operate in deep waters, a trend which has been impacting on the industry over the past 2 years. At Thursday's meeting at Corriverton, chairman of the number 66 Fishermen's Co-op Society, Parmeshwar Jainarayan, said some of the members of the organization are not registered with the Fisheries Department. He explained that scores of members do not have national ID cards.
Our biggest issue here right now, though, is that about a third of our members do not have ID cards. And we don't know how. We assume the grant would be in the form of a check. They'll have to go to the bank. So we are pleading that let's see the best how we can. They don't have passport neither, so a few of them have birth certificate. I'm sorry the fisherman is so man like this that they don't really believe in them kind of people.
But we'll find a way. Once they're legitimate fishermen and we can identify them, we will find a way of getting them the money. They don't have to worry. But they should also get ID cards because in the future, it's going to be very important for the country.
Representing the fishers on the east bank of Berbice at the meeting, chairman of the Shetanka Friends Fishermen's Co-op, Rishiram Ramkisoon, said there are many fishers who go out and make a catch and have family members sell the fish for them to earn a living. He pointed out that some of those fishers fish inland while others fish in the Berbice River.
But where we live in, we used to catch huge fish, big amount of fishes, but at the same time now, it appears to be like our livelihood gone down. We going down, we gotta move. And I think that as the President mentioned, Agriculture Minister, that inland fishing will be better. So I don't know if the government could, make lands available for the inland fishing.
This is June, so in July we pay. We pay in July. But take the whole month, put up the names, put it at all the landing points. You all get a chance to see the names. Make sure that, and then in July, we make the payout. Okay, so that's how we're going to work, that we take the whole month of June to verify this, so we don't get headache when I come to a meeting like this in the future. 10 people stand up and say, we're fishermen, but we didn't get it, and there are other people who are not fishermen, they got it.
Andrew Carmichael, The Evening News.
A number of potential obstacles are confronting the ranks of the Guyana Police Force as the east coast of Demerara is on the verge of seeing a major transformation. The biggest issue for the ranks is that more effort would have to be placed on security, which would now expand their workload. Lawana McAllister tells us more.
Commander of the Division Kali Parsham, during an episode of Police in You on Thursday, said that these challenges are mostly related to housing and community developments, and his ranks will have some readjusting to do. The commander said that before the year ends, there will be an extension of about 6 housing schemes between the communities of Strathspey and Labon Intention, East Coast Demerara.
All south of the embankment, going all the way down to the Forest Dam. So those additional housing areas will be challenges for the force, and we need to cope.
Parsham said that apart from those major developments, the entire landscape around the Ogle Good-for-Walking area will be commercialized, seeing a number of hotels and oil companies being built in the location. The area will also see the reformation of the Eugene F. Correa International Airport.
Between that, the Good-for-Walking to LBI, those additional areas also we will see in the medium term, if not this year, sometime next year, according to our colleagues from the CHPA, that those areas are also identified for housing. So and then not cutting the Enmore. There was the talk of the Enmore Sugar Factory. That entire area will be an industrial area.
As these many challenges present themselves, Commander Parsham said that he will put systems in place to curb their obstacles. He added that the challenges must be positively dealt with, and they will do so by collaborating with various communities.
We're pushing forward. We want to build all the partnerships we can. We want to build all the safe communities that we can at this stage, so that in the medium term, whatever systems we're putting in place, we'll be able to cope with those challenges.
Lawana McAllister for the Evening News.
The 4-lane highway from ECCLES to Greater Diamond on the east bank of Demerara is 25% completed and is on a strict timeline for completion. This was revealed to President Dr. Irfan Ali on Thursday afternoon during a site visit. He conducted an on-the-ground inspection of the ongoing works, accompanied by a team of technical staff from the Central Housing and Planning Authority and Housing and Water Minister Colin Crowell. The new highway from ECCLES to Diamond will be a continuation of the Mandela Avenue to ECCLES 4-lane road. The first section, which would allow traffic to flow from ECCLES to the Providence Access Road, is 30% completed and is expected to be finished by the end of July. Meanwhile, President Ali also made a stop at the Hagsbosch Access Road, which is undergoing rehabilitative works. Currently, over 1,300 meters of concrete drain are being built to allow for the road to be rehabilitated and extended into a 3-lane road from the Mandela to ECCLES Access Road to the Windsor Estates Access Road. These road projects, when completed, are expected to provide significant relief to the flow of traffic during peak hours along the east bank of Demerara. Coming up, Guyanese artists call for more radio play, and parents urged to get children immunized as highly transmissible COVID variants spread.
American-made Generac pressure washers from Sylvie's Variety Store gives you the power you need to blast away dirt and grime, providing the perfect cleaning power for any tough jobs around the house or business, from 2,500 to 4,000 psi. So get the Generac pressure washer today with all the parts and accessories available from Sylvie's Variety Store.
Did you know that when you leave your property unoccupied and unmanaged, it deteriorates much faster than you can imagine? Then before you know it, much of your hard-earned investment is wasted. At Hand in Hand Trust Corporation, property management is our business. Whether you travel for long periods, live overseas, or have several properties that require managing, let us at Hand in Hand Trust Corporation take care of this for you. Your property is safe with us. Hand in Hand Trust Corporation Incorporated.
Get in the game, get in the game, get in the game with Buster Play.
Get in the game with Buster. Win a full gaming setup, Xbox X, gaming chair, gaming speaker and headset, or any of over 60 weekly prizes like Oculus Quest 2, Mini 2 drone, Nintendo Switch, Xbox X Series. Just purchase any bottle of Buster, Turbo, Altitude, Classic, or Viva and look for the code on the bottle. Then visit Buster Instagram and Facebook at Buster Guyana for more details.
Looking to bring your dream home to reality or simply taking on a home improvement project? Then National Hardware Limited is where you should start. Let us put that touch to your home. Choose from over 1,000 Berger Paint original hues for any surface. We are known for our trusted brands such as Westinghouse, Philips, Satco, Rubbermaid, Pyrex, Gibson Home, and so much more. National Hardware Limited, your do-it-best store, located in downtown Georgetown and industrial site Rijnveld.
Welcome back. You're watching the evening news. A bee attack on a group of fishermen in Region 5, Mahaica Berbice on Thursday has resulted in the death of one man and injury to 7 others. Andrew Carmichael reports.
The dead man has been identified as 71-year-old Winston Rigby of number 41 Village, West Coast, Berbice. During the bee attack, which occurred at around 13 hours at Unfawak, Region 5, several of his siblings were also stung. One of the now dead man's brothers, who was also stung, told Evening News that they were on the way out from the sea to meet an officer from the Fisheries Department to have their names recorded for government's $150,000 cash grant for fisher folk.
Fishermen went up there approximately about 10 to 12 men who I know about, heading out from the street. Me, Kenneth, and Winston was the first set to out on the dog. He said bee. So somehow with the bee, next you know, the bee tackled me. Well, when the bee tackled me, he get the most sting because the bee ended up on the ear ready. So when I was sitting on the dam for about now, I hear this man, like this bee gonna kill people. When I hear that, I said, no man, I'm gonna take the scene, and I jump overboard.
Another brother who was also stung, William, said he was the first to reach the road because he had a bicycle and was able to get away.
Mother's Day was the first time I made the beep on the road. I was going on being my boat. While riding going up the street, the bee attacked me. I get bited, 10 bites. I come out and report to one of the big catcher. I'm working with the NDC. He reported the region and he said he didn't find the bee. So I was coming yesterday. My brother's name was in front. Another fisherman. And the bee make the attack. Some of them managed to run away. But the bee swam away. The elder brother, he couldn't run fast as I was on my bike. So I get reach on the road more faster than all of them. Yeah, and the bee they take you, they bite you up all over your head, your whole body. You last 15 minutes. When you reach on the road, you sit down, you rub your head, tell me that you're feeling pain in your head. You understand me? You say, give you 5 minutes. By the time I walk over the road and come over back, I see you back.
The now dead man lived alone following the demise of his wife just under a year ago. The father of 4 reportedly left home on Thursday morning and said he was coming back late. His niece recalls their final moments together.
He told me, "Man, I'm going to come home a little late. You must leave some food for me." So I said, okay. He leave and he go. The girl over there now called me. So I want to know what happened. When she called me there and she told me Uncle Winston dead, I was so stunned that the most I could do is just scream because I don't know.
Rigby leaves to mourn 20 siblings. For the Evening News, Andrew Carmichael.
Guyanese artists are calling for more radio play as they believe enough is not being done to promote local musicians. Shane Marks tells us more.
On the Eagles of Guyana's 56th Independence Anniversary flag-raising ceremony in Guyana, Essequibo Coast last week, President Dr. Afan Ali hosted an interactive session at the State House with local performers who participated in the celebrations. Guyanese producer and musician Calvin Burnett said that music by Guyanese artists should make up 90% of the music played on radio stations across Guyana.
A lot of times, like the President was pointing out, getting us to that international level or getting us on the stages in Guyana, so that when these foreigners come in, they can hear us. I think, Mr. President, what we need to do is to engage sometimes the radio stations and the TV stations as well. Because as artists, we can produce and we can push. And, we can throw out our stuff on social media and we can, be doing the groundwork for ourselves. But we can only do so much. The radio is what feeds the nation. The TV is what feeds the nation here. And if we can get our music, 90% of Guyanese music on the radio, on repeat, then, all the kids can know it.
Chiming in, Guyanese gospel artist Samuel Madaz said that there should be professional training on the business aspect of music so that persons would be equipped with the knowledge to monetize their craft.
If we could get training, professional training concerning the business of music, that would be a big plus for us. When we talk about what we want for Guyana, I think we have to put individual endeavors and individual careers on the back burner because Guyana is still trying to find an identity in the arts. We could borrow things from all the different countries, but we still don't have our identity. And that is a thing that has to start from the grassroots and come all the way up. The other thing I know for a fact in the arts and in the entertainment is that you have to want it. Because if you don't want it, it could be given to you and it can just blow away fast. And a lot of our artists and aspiring artists don't understand the business of music. So you're immensely talented, but immensely frustrated because you don't see the fruits of what you have honed.
President Ali has said he would give Guyanese artists and entertainers a chance to showcase their talent. He has charged Guyanese artists and entertainers to work together and come up with a unique package for the Guyana Night activity at the upcoming Cricket Carnival, which will in turn be used as a conduit to get local talents into the regional and international entertainment scene. Shane Marks, The Evening News.
Recognizing that uptake of the COVID-19 vaccination for adolescents remains stagnant, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony has called for parental support to increase the uptake figures amid the circulation of the highly transmissible Omicron variants and subvariants.
In the adolescent category of Guyana's COVID-19 vaccination campaign, 34,726 first doses or 46.7% have been administered, along with 25,451 second doses or 34.9%. According to the Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony, parental consent has been a challenge in immunizing this cohort of the population.
And part of the difficulty here has been the need for permission from parents. So if a young person does not have permission from their parents, we cannot vaccinate them. And so these numbers have remained relatively low.
For Guyana to increase its adolescent immunization coverage, parents are required to sign a consent form. He reminded that with the circulation of a highly transmittable variant in the country, Preventing the virus requires vaccination.
If we are going to increase these numbers, we need the cooperation, collaboration of parents, because the variant that is circulating is more infectious, and therefore if we want to prevent long COVID and the effects of the severity of the disease and so forth, it is better to be vaccinated. And unfortunately, while we have vaccines available, we're not seeing people coming forward to take the vaccines, and we need to change that. So I'm once again appealing to parents to protect their children, and one way of doing this is to make sure that they're properly vaccinated.
By next week, the vaccines for children ages 5 to 11 will also be available, but parental consent is also needed. Shane Marks, The Evening News.
Almost 5 years after the passage of the Tobacco Control Act, the Guyana government has admitted that there is still need for better sensitization and educational campaigns in relation to the laws governing the use of tobacco products in the country. As such, curtailing the use of tobacco products among the younger population is now a central focus of the Health Ministry, as new inventions and packaging to the market of the dangerous substance continues to lure people. Here is Rupasine Ryan again with the details.
The Health Ministry has partnered with the Education Ministry to enhance its education campaign against tobacco usage and the effects on health. During a World No Tobacco Day event on Tuesday, Health Minister Dr. Frank Anthony relayed that as youths experiment with new tobacco products and electronic devices being marketed, they stand a higher chance of getting hooked, making them lifelong prisoners to smoking.
We need to talk to younger people and to get them to understand the dangers of smoking. Now, one of the little known facts is that the people who are in charge of marketing cigarettes, while we are making it more difficult for them to do so, one of the things that they have done is in their market analysis, they realize that if you get somebody hooked on cigarettes before the ages of 18, then the chances are that they would become a lifelong smoker, right? Because cigarettes contain nicotine, which is an addictive substance that can lead to psychological dependence and then physical dependence, and then you're hooked.
He warned that the new e-cigarettes and vaping equipment being invented to attract the younger age groups have the same effect as smoking cigarettes, as they contain the same compounds that would cause damage to the body.
You hear about hookah bars, where you can go and you can smoke and you inhale through the water and all of that stuff, right? You hear about vaping. You hear about electronic cigarettes. But all these things still contain nicotine. Some of them still contain the dangerous components of cigarettes, the constituents of cigarettes, and therefore they would still do damage to your body. So while they have modernized the packaging of these things, the effect is still the same.
A latest survey from the World Bank shows that some 12% of the adult population is smoking, painting the need for education and enforcement of the laws. A two-pronged approach has been identified by the Health Ministry to curb the smoking epidemic in Guyana: prevention through education and sensitization for smokers. He underscored that greater education is needed on the Tobacco Control Act, which was introduced in 2017 and lists provisions for the sale, use, and packaging of the substance.
One of the things that we have to do more of is to get more institutions and businesses acquainted with the provisions of the legislation. I don't think a lot of people understand what is there. And therefore, one of the things that we have to do more of is to educate people pertaining to those provisions. So for example, one of the things that are there, if people are smoking in the indoor spaces, public spaces, that's an offense. And if they persist, they don't want to listen to the proprietor or whoever is administering that space, then that person can be fined. But many of our institutions that have the task of imposing those fines they have not been very diligent in how they're doing so.
Rupa Sinarayan, The Evening News.
And now for a look at the bridge reports.
The Demerara Harbour Bridge is scheduled to be closed on Saturday, June 4th at 4 hours for a period of 1.5 hours. Meanwhile, the Berbice River Bridge is expected to be closed on Saturday, June 4th at 6 hours 30 for a period of 1.5 hours.
Rain hits Queen's Park after Red Force bowled out for 218, and West Indies to see off Netherlands in final ODI. Details of these stories and more in the Sportscast sponsored by Macorp coming up on the other side of the break.
Here's what's happening on Waterloo Street at John Lewis Styles during the month of June. Shop for Father's Day and you could win an all-inclusive trip for two to Arrowpoint Nature Resort. Buy any men's suit and get a free tie, or buy any men's pair of shoes and get a free pair of socks. Traveling this summer? Buy any luggage set and get a free travel pouch. Visit us on Waterloo Street for more choices and better prices. John Lewis Styles. Simply different.
With unlimited games to choose from, you can be a winner with Superbet. Choose from our virtual sports, live betting, sports betting, live roulette, and much, much more. Place your bets at www.superbet.gy or visit any one of our agents. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 18 and over. Play responsibly.
Get the right seal right now from Industrial Supply of Guyana, Inc., your immediate SKF sealing solutions. The SKF Seal Jet Machine is capable of building seals from 5mm to 600mm in diameter in under 5 minutes. With technical support readily available, you can get a customized seal to suit virtually any industrial application, like buffer, rod, wiper, and piston seals. SKF Seal Jet Machine, now at Industrial Supply of Guyana, Inc.